Okay guys, it is time. This workshop is getting comfortable teaching the mat. So I have some questions and things we'll go over at the end, but I thought we would just run through a mat workout non-stop, just kind of go where you can go, and let's get familiar with it and do a little work, and then we will workshop it. So go ahead, if you have a mat with a strap, great. If not, don't worry about it, do what you can do. And let's go ahead and stand at the front of our mat, and we're gonna do what's called lowering. My head's gonna get cut off, that's okay. I want you to just cross one leg over the other and see, can you sit down without using your arms? It's okay if you do. Can you get now back up without using your arms? And then switch to the other side, and down, and back up. It may be a little different on that side, and that's okay. Just do what you can do. And down, and back up. I may end up taking this shirt off because it's getting warm already. And now all the way down. Good. And I want you to just roll down. All right, so we're gonna go into our 100. So I want you to just think about taking the legs where you can today. Reach your arms back. Let's curl your head and shoulders up. Reach those legs away. Take them where you need. Inhale and exhale. Nice, keep reaching. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You're doing good. Inhale, keep reaching. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, you're halfway there. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You guys look good. Inhale, keep reaching. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, and just reach it all the way down. All right, if you have a strap, place it on your feet. If you don't worry about it, but maybe your client will have one. We don't know. Let's reach the arms back. We're gonna go into our roll up. Just go where you can go, however you need to get there today. Just roll up, reaching the arms, reaching the legs, really reach the arms and legs, and roll it back down. Nice, and we're just gonna run quickly through our mat. Reaching, I want you to just move and kind of feel how everything feels for you. If you haven't done something before, just do what you can do. And we'll do 2 more here. Pull into your strap, rolling up, and then all the way down. Keep pulling in your strap if you have it. If not, just keep reaching those legs, and then rolling all the way up, and then rolling all the way down. Nice. All right, unhook those feet. We're going into our rollover. So arms at your side, it's your roll up, upside down. Lengthen those legs, lift your hips, press into those arms, opening and circling your legs around. We'll do 2 more in that direction. Keep your head pressing into the mat. Keep your arms pressing into the mat. Do 1 more. Reach. Nice. And now, of course, you're gonna reverse it. Open those legs, lengthening, and all the way down. Good, keep breathing through. And keep pressing into the mat with your arms as you reach them away. And think about those legs as well. Reaching behind, and then rolling all the way down. Woo, and if you wiggle wobble, that's okay. And bring your legs all the way down. So again, if you have a strap, we'll go ahead and use it. If not, again, don't worry about it. 1 leg's gonna be on the mat. We'll go into our 1 leg circle. So just pull or feel like you're reaching your leg, and the other leg is up towards the ceiling. And I want you to just take that hip, lift it off to take your leg. So let it come off. We're looking at some rotation here. And circle and back to the top. Do 1 more. Inhale and exhale. Just breathing through. The leg on the mat is what we're focused on. It's standing leg. Now switch the direction of that circle. Let that hip lift and back across, and breathe. Good, keep lengthening the arms, keep reaching. I'm not a good counter. For those that have worked with me, let's do 2 more. I hope this is close to 5, 1 more. And then bring that leg, and we'll switch. All right, you may need to adjust, that's okay. Different side, let's see what happens. Lift your hip, take it across, and back. Ooh, tighter side for me. So again, focusing on that standing leg. Good. Let's do one more. And then reversing the direction of that circle, reach and up. Good. 2 more. 1 more. Good. And then unhook both feet. All right, reach your arms behind, and we're gonna just roll up. I want you to just roll up and pull your knees in, and I want you to find your ball position. So from here, as tightly, whatever your ball is today, that's what you're gonna do. And let's roll back. See if you can find your ball back at the top. Whatever you need to do to get there. Keep a little push and pull of those legs. Keep looking towards the middle of your ball. Whether you're a tennis ball, a ping pong ball, whatever you are today. Do 2 more. Nice, 1 more. Keep rolling. Good. And we're going to transition here. So grab your right leg, roll back like you're at the bottom of your ball as you lengthen that left. You're in your 1 leg stretch. And then you're gonna switch. Sorry, I got a curl in my eye. And you reach, and reach. Nice. Think you're at the bottom of your ball, and you could almost curl up if you wanted to. Inhale, and exhale, nice. And do 2 more. And then double leg, bring both legs in. We're gonna do the traditional version. So think back to your 100. Reach your arms, reach your legs. Take your arms, push them into like a magic circle, and pull it back in. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, pull it back in. Inhale, reach. And back in. Good, 2 more. Keep looking towards the middle of your ball. You're still at the bottom of that ball. There it is. And release it down. Good. Go ahead, lengthen your legs. Reach your arms back. Roll all the way up. Enjoy a little roll up if you want. And we're gonna go into our spine stretch. So, taking the legs apart, sitting tall, and place your hands on the mat in between your legs. Keep reaching your legs. And I want you to think back to your roll up and reach your arms and reach your legs and just take your back towards the wall behind you as you exhale. And then inhale and grow back up tall. And do that again. Exhale as you push it away. And then all the way back tall. Good. And again, press it away. And all the way tall. We'll do 1 more here. Keep reaching the arms, reaching the legs, because there's your roll up, right? And then bring it all the way up. All right, to our open leg rocker. Let's just transition. So if you can, keep the legs where they are. Roll back to where you could reach those legs away. You can bend your knees if you want to, but lengthen, bring them up and see if you can find your balance. So let's just try to hold it. Woo. And again, open leg rocker is a daily thing here. Let's see if we can roll back and find our little balance point. So roll back. And see, whoa, and then roll back. I almost teeter-tottered forward, and then up. You guys are my second class today. Inhale back. Good, let's do 1 more. Find that position. Woo, can we hold it? And then see, can you keep the legs apart? Bring them down the way you went up. And then bring the legs together. And we're gonna roll all the way down for our corkscrew. And I'll let you decide. If you wanna go up into the shoulder version, go for it. If not, you can keep it down. So reach your arms, reach your legs. So from here, if you wanna go up into your shoulders, you can. If not, just keep it here. I'm gonna keep it here today. Let's go towards the right, lengthening your left leg. Let that hip lift, reach, and bring it back and around. And then switching into the other way. Inhale, circling around, nice. Really feel the connection of your arms and those shoulders into your mat, reaching it around. Nice. And again, we got 1 more each direction, so we're nice and even. Good. And then bring the legs all the way down. Reach your arms behind. And we're gonna roll all the way up into our saw. So take the legs apart, just like you did for your spine stretch. And let's reach the arms long and sit super tall. So I want you first to just twist where you can. Just twist where you can. Now, I don't want you to think about reaching more. You just twist it where you can. That's it. From there, reach forward. Not down, but forward. There's your spine stretch again. And bring it up, untwist, and go to the other side. Twist where you can and reach forward and forward and back up. And twist where you can and reach and reach. Nice. And one more each direction. And again, think about both legs reaching nice and even as you twist and reach. And bring it back to the center. And we're gonna roll all the way down, and we're gonna go into our prone lift and our one leg and our double leg. So go ahead, place your forehead on your mat, arms in a capital T. And I want you to take an inhale, and as you do, let your legs and arms float up. Let the head float up. Let the chest float up. I'm not going very high today. And then all the way down. And do that again. Inhale as you reach, let the head float up. Let the chest float up. Keep reaching those legs. And all the way down. One more here. If you are able to rock, go for it. If not, keep it there. And down. And then bring your elbows to the mat. Because again, we're quickly just going through, not a whole lot of reps here. Pull your chest through your arms, glue those legs together, and we'll do our one leg kick. Trying to keep the knees connected, pulling through, looking forward, trying to keep both hips pressing evenly as best as possible. One more. Good. And then into the double leg, so bring the head back down, hands behind you, glue those legs, double kick, and lengthen, let the head and chest float up where they can, and back down. Inhale, reach, and exhale. Super tight today, inhale, and one more. And rest. All right, bring yourself up. We're gonna go into thigh stretch, which isn't in Return to Life, but he did teach it, so we'll go for it today. So, slight tilt of the pelvis forward and looking towards the baseboard. So you're kind of curled at both ends. Feet are connected, and you're just gonna inhale where you can and exhale. You can see super tight today. And just back where you can and back up. Good, inhale as you go back. Nice. Just do two more here. Even if you don't feel like you're going further, which I don't, visualize you are. One more. Good. And then go ahead, sit down on your mat. If you have a strap, we're gonna use it for neck pull. If you don't, feel free to use your arms, whatever you need to do to get up. Legs are gonna be together. Roll down, we'll start from the bottom. Hands behind your head. Press, sorry I'm flashing everybody. Press your head into your hands. I want you to think a really low ceiling. And I want you to pull into your strap if you have one, or reach your legs. Press your head into your hands. And let's just roll up under that low ceiling. Keep rolling and do a little pull at the top. And keep kind of pushing your head into your hands as you roll back down. Nice, and do that again. Rolling up and reach, and then all the way down. Good, and do that again. Rolling up, last one here, and then rolling all the way down. Good, and then unhook if you have your strap, unhook. We're gonna go into our scissors and bicycle. So again, do what you can do. Arms at your side. We're gonna go back to our rollover. So roll over. Lift your legs to where you can place your hands like behind two, like you had jeans on, two little pockets. Push into your elbows. And let's just take one leg. I want you to focus on the leg away. Not so much how far this leg is going, but more the leg going away, reaching, because we've got shoulder bridge coming up. So we're gonna kind of open things up a bit more. And then take that into your bicycle. Good. And then reverse your bicycle, because we're not doing a whole lot today. Just kind of getting a feel for the mat. Bring the legs together, arms at your side, rolling back down. And bring the legs all the way down. And we'll go into our shoulder bridge. So bend your knees. Your feet are hip width apart, and your heels can be as close to you, your rear end, as you want, as long as your knees are happy. Arms at your side. So I can already tell I'm super tight. So we'll see where we go today. Lift your hips up, bake the knees away. See where you are in space. Push into your feet even more and see if you can lift up even higher, and then roll it back down. So if you're like me, you're probably gonna keep it here. For those that can, when you go up, if you can place your hands around your hips and have your elbows down, you'll do that on the next one. If not, you're gonna stay with me. And then bring it up. So if you can, placing your hands around your hips, do that. Keep pressing into those elbows if you're doing it. And go ahead, take your right leg, and you're just gonna lengthen it on your mat. And then you're gonna kick that leg 3 times, doing the scissor kicks in your shoulder bridge, where you can. And then after that, you'll do the opposite leg, lengthening it on the mat, doing your kick. For those that are super tight, we'll keep it here. And so those that are kicking are probably almost done. So we'll do one more shoulder bridge for those that are here, and roll down, and then lengthen your legs. Reach back. We're gonna roll all the way up again. Rolling where you can, and we're gonna go into our spine twist. So sit up tall, arms out wide. And I want you to sit as tall as you can. And let's twist towards the right again. Maybe a little further. And grow really tall. And then to the other side. Keep breathing. And as you can tell, I'm not really telling you when to breathe, but I want you to breathe. So whether it's an inhale and an exhale, whatever kind of gets you breathing, and we'll talk about that. And one more. Good. And then bring it down, and we're gonna go into our jackknife. So roll back down. So again, take care of you where you can go. We'll do 3. Bringing the legs up and over, into that rollover, jackknife up. Keep reaching for the ceiling as you roll back down. Keep reaching those arms, and do that again. Rolling over, and jackknife up. Beautiful. Good. And we'll do one more. Usually it takes about, 3 for our body to kind of figure out where it's going, what's happening, and then bring the legs all the way down. Good. And then we're just gonna roll on our side and go into our side legs. So, hands behind your head, both hands. Take the legs slightly forward, bring the top leg up. Think about your neck pull, pushing into your head. You're gonna kick as far forward and back as you can. So think, we've got teaser coming up. So kick as far forward as you can. Pelvis can curl. You can rock into it. You've got the counterbalance with your head and your hands, and you've got that leg on the mat to really fire into. And that will tell you if you've gone too far. Do 2 more on this side, because this is my daughter's side. 1 more. Good. And then bring it together. And I'm just gonna flip, but you can go however you want. And we'll do the whole thing on the other side. All right, so hands behind your head. Take the legs forward. Nice. Okay, you ready? Lengthen. Reach that bottom leg, kick as far forward and as far back as you can. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. Keep breathing. And again, each side is different, so kind of start paying attention to what you're feeling, what's happening. Do 3 more. Good. Last 2. And 1 more. Good. And then bring it all the way together. And then go ahead and lie down on your back. I'm gonna swivel around again because we're gonna go into our teaser. We're just gonna go right into it. So you're on your back. We're just gonna do 3. Reach your arms behind you. Glue those legs together. Try not to think too hard. And just curl up, reach your legs away. reach the legs away. Keep reaching the arms for the feet. And then roll back down. Keep reaching those legs away and all the way down. Just do what you can do. Exhale, curling up, reach into it. Good. And then rolling back down. And we'll do one more here. Curling up, reach into it. Oh, whoa. I caught myself. Good save. That's what I would tell my client. Good save. And all the way down. Good. All right. Let's roll you all the way up. Okay. So we're going into our hip twist. You have a couple of options here. On your elbows. If you have a raised mat, you can do here, your dowels, whatever works for you. But keep lifted and bring your legs up wherever they go. Don't care what the angle is. Keep firing into your arms. Think of your corkscrew again, circling around it. Keep firing into the elbows. Good, inhale and exhale. I'm not giving you a lot of cues here because I want you kind of exploring how things feel. So when we kind of deep dive into it for a little bit. Good. And one more. And then bring those legs all the way down. Good. And bring yourself up. All right, we're gonna go into our swimming. I am not a good swimmer. Well, I am in the water, but not on the mat. So do what you can do. Go ahead, lie down, flip over. We'll go into our position. Forehead on the mat, arms and legs straight out. All right, we're just gonna go for it. Reach your arms, reach your legs. Let your head and shoulders float up. Keep your hips pressing in and just go. Try to see where you're going. I'm super tight, so this is it for me today. And just breathe. And then bring it all the way down. Curl your toes under. Find your mat. Press up for your leg pull. Reach your legs behind you here. And let's just take that right leg and reach it so far away it floats up. And then switch and left. Keep pushing the floor away. You guys warming up? Because I sure am. And we'll do one more each leg. Don't let those arms get lost. Don't let the leg on the mat get lost. Good. And then see, can you lower yourself all the way back down? Woo. And then we'll flip over for the leg pull back. Okay, so again, you've got a couple of options here, right? If you have a raised mat, you've got that option. If not, fingers can be whatever feels good for you. Make sure your arms are slightly behind you so that you don't take your shoulders out over you. Reach your legs away. We'll add the leg kicks, but you don't have to. So you're gonna press up, reach the legs away, and then come all the way down. Let's just do that one more time. They'll add the leg kicks or just keep it here. Press up, reach the legs away, fire into those arms. And now we're gonna do 3 leg kicks on each leg, or just keep lowering and lifting. And you'll do 1, 2, think of your scissors, and then switch. Just be careful. If it bothers your knees, don't do it. And then lower all the way down. Nice. Okay, it's time for our kneeling side kicks. And I think I'm going to take some clothes off today. All right, we'll just put that over there for now. Okay, so you're kneeling. I don't know if y'all did the same thing. Maybe you did. Hands behind your head. All right, so we're going into the kneeling side kicks. Take your right arm, reach for the floor, your mat, and lengthen the left. Now, push out of this arm and same kick forward as far as you can. But remember, now you have a little less support than we did a second ago with our side kicks all the way on the mat. So use the arm, use the leg that's on the mat, do 2 more. Breathe, 1 more. And then see, can you bring yourself back up the way you went down? And then switch to the other side. Good. And same thing, forward and back. Again, the curls in the face. Keep pressing the head into the hands. Keep firing out of that arm. We've got side bend coming up. 3 more. Last 2. Whoa. 1 more. And then bring it all the way back up. Nice. Just sit your hips down to that first side. We're gonna go into our side bend. You got a couple options. Feet stacked, staggered. Stacked is harder, less support. Stagger, a little more support. Let's just do a little prep, and then that will allow you to move if you need to move. Arms at your side. Think of the legs reaching away, head reaching in that direction. Fire into this arm. Reach. Press your body into that hand, and then all the way down. Good. And if you need to adjust your hand, you can. Now we're going to go into the full side bend. So you're going to press those legs away. Reach that arm up and over. Lift your hips. Look towards that arm. Now you can come all the way back down, bending down. Or we'll keep it straight and not hit the mat. You ready? Up and over. Do what you want to do. Reach. Back up. Last one. And then come all the way down. So you have those two options. One is a little more challenging than the other. The second one is as he did in Return to Life. So we'll kind of go through that if we have time today. All right, different side. Find your position. Press the arm into your body. I almost said mat. And reach. Press into it. I'm gonna have to adjust a little bit. And now we'll go into it. So up and over. Remember, you have 3. Reach. Do what you want to do. Straight, shin down, or bend your knees and come all the way back down and back up. Last one. Woo. And rest. Awesome. Okay, so you're nearing the end. We're at boomerang. We're just going to do 2 each side, so a total of 4. Cross your left over your right. Hands at your side. And we're gonna roll into our rollover. So go for it. Roll into your rollover. Uncross, cross the other way. Now come up, find your teaser and hold. Woo! And then control into your spine stretch. And then back to start. And do it again. Roll over. Crisscross. Up in your teaser. Hold. Controlling into your spine stretch. You got 2 more. Roll back. Crisscross. Into that teaser. Whoa. And spine stretch, the last one. Roll it back. Crisscross. Woo, we're doing good. Oh, that was a bad one, wasn't it? Oh well. I was so excited we were doing good. All right, now it's time for seal. So, holding your feet to where you can do your little clicks. So we're gonna do 3 here, 3 behind. So we're kind of getting back onto our shoulders again. Little less momentum, we're gonna have to hang out there for a while. So when you're ready, go for it. We're gonna do 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then 3 clicks. Good. Doesn't have to be slow. You can click as fast as you want. And up. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna do crab, and I'm gonna actually do the full crab, but we are gonna break this down and the more challenging ones in our little workshop portion. So do what you can do, pulling apart. We're gonna roll back, uncross, recross. Think of your ball. I want you to go up and over gently, a little neck pull, up and over again, crisscross, and again. We're just doing 2, and then back to our start. Just because we're gonna break that down a bit, and I'm not sure everyone's kind of comfortable with crab, so we'll work on that one. All right, so we're going into rocking. So again, I'm gonna go where I can go, you go where you can go. Lie on your stomach. Forehead on the mat. Grabbing one leg. Maybe that's it, we don't know. Can you grab the other? Woo! All right, let the head float up. Reach your arms. Reach the arms away, reach the knees away. Go where you can go, and then all the way back down. And do that again. Reach your arms, reach the knees away, let the head and shoulders float up. Last one, so if you want to go into rocking, go for it. And lengthen and lift, I'm so tired. Woo, and all the way down. Good. So that's gonna be one we also break down, because for a lot of people like me, that's just one that's never gonna happen. Just not, but that's okay. All right, we're going to control balance. We're just gonna do 1 each leg. So roll all the way down, Do what you can do. Again, take care of you. Arms at your side. Let's go for it. Go into your rollover. Find it. Take one arm behind you, then the other. See if you can grab one leg. Now, instead of thinking pulling it towards the ground, I want you to reach it behind. Reach it. Whoa, because that's going to keep you from falling. And if it touches the ground, great, but think of the reach, and we're going to switch. Stay balanced on those shoulders. Ooh, you can do it. And reach, reach, reach. And then see, both legs down, arms at your side. Roll it down. Don't worry, we're gonna go over that one. And we'll roll it all the way up because you are at the end. We're gonna do one set of push-ups. Normally I make all my classes, they do 3, but we'll just do 1, just to save our time. So walk to the back of your mat. You can do 3 to 5, whatever works for you. Reach your arms, roll it down, and walk it out. Find your push-up position. 3 to 5, you can do it. Push the floor away. Awesome. And then walk it back. And roll it all the way up. Good job. Okay. So there's your mat, right? So let's think about it. The questions I got in regards to this is, you have those clients that don't normally do mat, or you haven't taught mat, or you learned mat in training, but it just kind of went off to the side, or you do bits and pieces of it. Now in this new environment, we're having to, with COVID-19, coronavirus, teach virtually. So for a lot of teachers, that is a little unnerving. So that's what we're gonna do today, is kind of look at the mat work and kind of figure that out. So I have my little thing here because I had people that couldn't be here live, and then those that are, I can see their questions, but let's just kind of go through in order, and hopefully we have time. I'm watching the time there for you guys. The first thing we did was lowering. So when you think of the mat work with the client, it's really assessing and it's seeing what's going on with the client. But in reality, to the client, it's a workout, right? They don't care, they do if they're in pain, but they don't really care, oh, is one hip more? Most don't. They want to work out. So starting out with the lowering and lifting, where we crossed our legs and we kind of went down and up, is a way for you to kind of see some imbalances. But also for them, it's kind of like, can you get down on the ground and then get back up? Because as we age, that's kind of important, isn't it? If we get down and it's a low seat, what if we can't get back up? What happens? So that's kind of the thought process on that, is can you get down and get back up? And it's usually pretty highly entertaining for people to try to get back up. And if they use their hands, great, that's okay. But the more they do it, the better they'll get in terms of that. So that's kind of, if you look at the whole mat and the order and what we're doing, is everything's leading to everything else. But for the purpose of this workshop and getting comfortable teaching mat, is probably the most important thing, is those building blocks for clients, and then also making them understand that just because they don't have a reformer, because most of the teachers that reached out were more reformer class teachers, that they're gonna get just as hard a workout as they do on the apparatus. Because the apparatus was actually invented to make the mat easier, because the mat is super hard. And if you flow through it with your client without stopping and letting them just move, they will be dying. So that's another thing to think about, is let them know that the mat, the foundation, all the other apparatus is here to help make the mat easier, because it's so freaking hard. And when I teach my mat classes, my clients are always like, oh my God, it's so hard. And it is. So let's look at the 100, because you do the 100 on the reformer, and maybe you do it on other apparatus as well. But on the mat, it's really easy for them to lose focus and just think they're flapping their arms and whatever. So you can give cues as if you're on the reformer, or give cues that are easy, because we talked about in this workshop about what cues you can give, because you have no tactile with the client. You can't touch them, you can't give them feedback. So you want simple, clear, concise directions for them. They can't really, they can see you, but they're trying to move and lay down, and there's a computer, so maybe you can't get there. So if you think about the 100, just get them to feel it first. So start with laying down, arms at your side, and this is actually called the lift. So just have them stay here and have them kind of feel where they are on their mat, and then just think about reaching your legs so far away from you that you feel like you're gonna lift them off the mat. Don't lift them off the mat, but picture the foot bar at the end of your mat and take your feet and push them into that foot bar like you're trying to push your body away. And you will feel all that happen. So maybe do that a few times for them. And then have them reach their arms, and y'all can do this with me. I'm hoping you are. And then some of you are, I can see. And then get in the 100 position. And from here, again, picture that foot bar there. Push it away. Really push it away. Feel like you're gonna lift your legs, but you don't. And then bring it down. And see if you can do that again. And as you do that and you hold this position, reach your arms, reach your legs, can you breathe? Can you continue to breathe, or are you holding your breath? Can you breathe? And bring it all the way down. So from there, from that lift there, then you can cue them, because maybe their legs don't actually float off, right? Maybe they don't. And for those that start the 100 in tabletop or start their legs from a different position, that reach of the legs and having to come from here is going to be super challenging. But for Joseph Pilates, it was all about, can you lift your legs off? And if they don't, they don't, right? Maybe someday they do. I've had clients that we've started the 100 and they've started with me and they don't lift their legs up and their legs are on the ground, and then one day all of a sudden they float up and they're like, oh my gosh. So that's what you're doing. It's like the legs don't have to lift, but see if you can reach them so far away, maybe they float up, and maybe they do. So that's kind of something you can do with the 100 to get them to not just be flapping, whatever, legs dangling, or they're here, they reach there, and then they're just like, and also give them some cue with the arms, right? So if you want to have them like they're holding handles, and then as they pump, they're squeezing those handles and they're reaching those arms. So there's all these little cues in terms of that. Think about the reformer and what they're doing. If they're holding onto handles, they've got those straps, those ropes, and they're just pumping and reaching the legs into the 100, into the foot bar. So when you think about teaching mat, and you can't really be hands-on, you want really, like I said, simple cues. So let's think about the one leg circle. So one thing I like to teach with the one leg circle is the cue of the leg that's not moving. Because a lot of times in Pilates, it's what's not moving that we can cue. Because they're so focused on the circle of that leg, they forget the leg that's down here. So whether it's in a strap or whether it's just here on the mat, they're mostly concerned with this. So this leg is just really like whatever, it's moving around, whatever. So think about that leg. They can flex it, they can point it, whatever feels connected for them. And it's like they're standing on it. So this leg can only go where that leg continues to be standing on something and circling around. So instead of cueing that circling of the leg, think about the leg on the ground and just keep cueing. reach that leg, stand into that leg. There's an exercise when I went through the Kathy Grant Heritage Training that she did called keyhole leg. And we won't go into that because it's a lot, but I kind of cued that. But if you think of that leg just stuck in something and it can't move. And so with the things like that and the one leg circle, you're really thinking and making them kind of gear towards something maybe they don't think about so much. And it's exhausting to keep that leg reaching. And again, just going through and then letting them kind of figure out, it's like, ooh, how does this leg feel different? Or keep reaching that leg, keep pressing the arms into the mat. Just really active, unpassive, non-passive words are best. So I had one teacher want to go over, and she wasn't able to join us, to go over transitions. Because another thought process you can put in your toolbox is with the mat, continuing movement. So there's no like stopping. They're continuing to move. Now, of course, if they're huffing and puffing and they're dying, then let them rest. But if they're wanting to be challenged and you're scared about them thinking it's too easy, then just keep them moving in the transitions. So every time they have to come up to a sitting position, they roll up. Whenever they have to lay down, they roll back down. And there's a really good one between your one leg circle and your rolling back or your ball. And you can actually make them do this a couple of times because it's really hard. And so it's just a transition. So I'm gonna do that, this one here for that. So let's say, you're down here. They finished their one leg circle, right? They've gone across, they circled, blah, 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 the leg comes down. So immediately just tell them to reach their arms behind them and they're gonna roll up, but at the same time, they're gonna pull their knees in and find their ball and hold it. So you could just have them go right into ball, but if you have those clients that are like, mat is so easy, blah, 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 do this. Do it a couple of times, do it as many times as you want to. So think about your 100. And you're gonna roll back, you're gonna reach your arms and reach your legs till basically you're in your 100 position and then all the way back down. And then again, roll up into your ball, pull it in, and then reach out, find that 100 position, hold for a moment, all the way down, and do it again. We're gonna do floor. And then reach, find that 100, and down, and one more. Yep, and reach. That's work, yeah? It's a nice transition. And up. And then on the last one, make them come up into that ball and roll. So things like that can keep them moving. And connecting one exercise to the other. So taking them back to their 100, taking them back to the reach of those legs. Also, we're getting ready into our double leg stretch, which is coming up, and that's pretty much what you just did. So it's preparing again for that. So another transition is they're in their ball, right? And we've got to go back, and we did this in the mat portion. We got to go into that one leg stretch. So with control, you're going to grab onto one leg, reach the other. Think you're rolling back into your ball again, right? So you're kind of at the bottom of your ball, right? And then they can just go right into it. No pause, no rest, right into it. And then they can go right into their double leg stretch. And you can do either version, whatever you want. But look, there's that same thing they just did earlier in that ball transition. And reach. So there you go. So another, just kind of going through, making sure they just keep moving, not really giving them time to rest, right? Okay, so more transitions and spine stretch. So spine stretch is one of those which I feel like people just kind of cheat. They kind of just, I know you see it, they kind of just like, oh, it feels so good. Oh yeah, it feels so good. Yeah, right? But it should be work. So what if you had them have the feeling, because with spine stretch, we're trying to get them back to their roll up right into that rollover. So we don't want them to just collapse on over. We want that up and over again. So by placing your hands on the mat and reaching your legs, get them to understand that feeling of up, right? And it could just be here, and you could leave the spine stretch completely out of it. Pressing into your arms to push, almost like you're trying to lift yourself off your mat and reach your legs as far as you can, and then relax it down. And do that again. Just push into the mat and reach those legs away. And do you feel how it just, everything lifts off? So if they get that, and then you say, okay, keep that feeling, keep pushing, and then push it away, but you're still trying to lift yourself up and reach those legs. So all of a sudden, they're not here, right? They're actually here and going back. So they're in their rollover, or roll up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So even simple things like using the mat, and I cue that a lot in spine stretch of, picture the mat as your spring, right? You're pushing into that spring. You're using that spring to go into that up and over spine stretch. And that's what we're looking for. And that kind of cueing with the spring kind of helps them. Oh, it's not just like a hamstring stretch. Because it's not. It's a spine stretch, it's not a hamstring stretch. Otherwise, I think he would have called it a hamstring stretch. I don't know. My opinion. All this is my opinion, right? Okay, so open leg rocker. Here's another one that it's a challenge. So make it about something. Make it about balance. Make it about, can you find your way back here? What do you need to do that? And just let them move, let them figure it out. Because that's the other thing is, now we don't have that tactile to get in there with them and put them in the position we want. So let them kind of figure it out. I always tell my students going through that it takes someone 3 times to figure out what they're doing. So let them do 3 and then cue something you feel they need to connect with. So for open leg rocker, we have another transition, right? And you can just keep it at the transition, arms out, and just have them roll back to the point where if you said, hey, I want you to reach your legs so far away, maybe they unweight. Don't lift them, but reach them away and come back up. So you could just keep it there, right? Just have them roll back, reach the legs so far, maybe they float up, and then back down. And then if you wanted, you could go into the full rolling back. And then they could bend their legs, they could reach, they could catch. And then just have them stay here for a moment, find their balance. Can they look inward a bit? And then can they roll back and find that balance again? So make it about that. Make it about, what do you need to do to get back up? Don't get into the whole, make sure this is happening, because they're a little bit on overload already. And they really can't see you, and you keep talking at them and they're gonna stop listening. And then from here, if you want to transition out of it, can you control and bring it back down there the way you went up? So another thing to let them know is they're still in their spine stretch. They went into their spine stretch and then they just lifted their legs. So they need to keep that same reach of the legs, the same spine stretch happening, but a little less support. So there are all these little things you can kind of cue in terms of one thing to another. I know we're kind of quickly going through all this because it's not a lot of time. Usually I have months and months with people in the mat, but I wanted to give you some stuff to kind of think about. And the other, let's go with corkscrew, because I think even keeping it out of the shoulder bridge portion is super challenging. So if you think that you can maybe start with that and then eventually add that into it, because what happens is if they go right up into that, a lot of times the connections are gone. So that's something to think about when you start teaching mat. Sometimes going for that full expression of something is gonna maybe feel easy for them because they're really not connected to it and they're really not understanding. So by building the blocks and getting them to really connect the arms, connect and reach the legs, to lift that hip and reach the leg, all these little things, Then when they go into the full expression, it is challenging because all of a sudden they understand really what's happening. And when we get to control balance and building that, you'll see. But corkscrew. So the thing with corkscrew, a lot of times, and I'll do it here so you can see, people kind of like do this, the hip hike, right? The hip hike. So a lot of times you can do what's called the TikTok first to get them to understand we want the hips to not do this, but we want them to do this. Is that, I don't know if that's good or not, but we're gonna go with that. Okay, so if you're on your back, legs up towards this guy. So we'll just do the TikTok. So we're gonna go towards the left, and I want you to look at your right leg. And most people, as they go, that right leg will shorten behind the left because this hip isn't going with the other hip. So what I want you to think about is you're gonna take that right leg, press the arms into the mat. So as long as this right shoulder stays down, you're good. Take your right leg as you go and keep trying to reach it past your left leg. And then bring it back to the center. And then take your left leg as you go to the right and try to reach it past that right leg and back to the center. So use that in your corkscrew here. You ready? Since your teachers, we'll just go for it. Reach that right leg past the left. Circle where you can. Now you're in the center, right? Now reach the left leg past the right. Back to the center. And then switch. Reach the left leg past. It won't really reach past, but just visualize. And then right past the left and back to the center. So just teaching that basic TikTok, then building into the corkscrew, and then maybe up into the bridge, it gives you somewhere to go with that client. So it's always a good thing to think about in terms of building blocks, because we want our clients to be challenged but not frustrated, and we want them also to feel like they're working. So the other thing we went over and I like to chat on is saw. I kind of feel like saw sometimes is spine stretch for people, meaning they twist and then they kind of and they come back up and they twist and they but one thing I want to chat on is if you read Return to Life, and there's pictures obviously of Joe, and he was very strong and very bendy and very flexible, and he did his work obviously. And so the verbiage is to twist as far as you can and then reach, blah, blah, blah. It was reach forward. He actually can twist far enough to reach towards his other leg. I can't. So if you look at someone, and I don't know if you can see, but I'll over exaggerate it. So watch my legs. So they twist, right? This is as far as I can twist. If I twist further, this leg shortens, this leg goes, but yeah, I'm there, it's great. And then I can twist and reach, but I'm lost in all the work. So if you just have them sit tall first, right? Press and grow tall, and then just twist where they can. Stay tall. Now, that's where they can, right? So I can guarantee you this leg wants to come back. So the leg you're twisting towards, reach it a little further. Think back to your corkscrew, right? It is your corkscrew, but you're sitting up. Light bulb moment. And then reach, and then back up, and untwist. And then twist to the other side, only where you can, and reach forward, and there's your spine stretch as best as you can. So just kind of cueing little things like the leg you're twisting towards, reach. Can you reach it further? Can you get taller? Can you reach the arms longer? Just little cues that get them to really engage instead of just verbally cueing the entire exercise. Or maybe you notice one thing that, oh yeah, that leg isn't really reaching. I'm gonna cue that. Can you reach that leg longer? Yeah, can you breathe? So things like that. So when it comes to the extension work, your prone lift or your swan, your one leg, your double leg, we won't do them again, but the main thing here is people tend to just think of, meaning clients, I'm gonna get up as high as I can. And again, it can look pretty, might be easy for them, feels good, not really a lot of work, especially if there's hypermobile people, unlike me. So how do you cue that to maybe build some blocks to either rein them in or give them the ability to maybe open up and get into it more? So the things to cue are, and this is going to kind of go against some of the cues we've heard over the years. And I've talked with my students about this a lot. But a lot of times teachers kind of cue, and I'm not bashing because I'm sorry, I did it too, to keep the length here. So when they go into extension, they're like, no, they don't want you to curl here, right? But if you think about it, we have to curl our neck. I mean, this has to curl in order for us to move down our spine. Otherwise, we're gonna get stuck. So if I try to just think about this lengthening and I come up, I'm not gonna come up very far. Whereas if I do this, then all of a sudden I'm gonna get more extension. So you don't want, and I think the cue, we talked about this, the cue probably came because somewhere, some client just, which we know, threw their head back and the teacher was like, oh no. So they were just trying to get them to understand, which is correct. We want the length to be this way and then this way. So what you want to think about is their hips, the minute that head lifts, the hips are pressing into that mat because they're going to start curling at both ends. And just give them a cue of let the head come up or lift your head. Start looking forward. Maybe the chest lifts up. Keep looking forward. Keep looking where you're going. Keep pressing your hips into the mat and see where they go. And if you cue it that way, those that kind of just lift into their back, you took it out by having them lift the head and start looking forward, so they're going up and out. And it's the same thing. So when you get into the one leg kick and the double leg kick, you know, they're on their elbows, right? Chest pulling through and the hips pressing as evenly as they can and gluing those legs together. So just those little, I almost said clues, just those little cues can help them, and you don't have to bombard them with a whole bunch of stuff. Especially if we're in a situation where your client has never done that before and you've never taught them before, keep it really simple. I mean, for one leg kick, maybe just have their head on their hands like this and just get the leg work going. Because it really is about seeing the openness of the front. So you just took the extension of the upper out, you're still okay, right? So kind of break it down that way. So if you want, go ahead and email me, Hillary@HillaryOpine.com, or look it up, brain fried. And I'll send you kind of like a cheat sheet, meaning all the exercises, and then just some little cues you can do. So just email me if you want that, because I'll do it for you. Okay, so neck pull. This is a hard one, right? And especially if they don't have a strap, if they don't have something to kind of pull into, because the strap really gives us that, like a spring, right? The strap is your spring. It's the like, hey, this needs to happen. So if they don't have it, they're missing that cue. So break it down. Make it a little more palpable for them. So if they're laying down, legs together, hands behind the head, pressing the head into the hands. So just picture a really low ceiling like we talked about. And push your head into your hands. No matter what we do, I want that to stay just as pushing as it is right now. Let the head come up. Keep pushing it into your hands and look towards your feet. Not bad, right? Now reach your legs even longer. Push the head even more. See if you can reach the legs longer to curl up a little more. Reach the legs longer, maybe curl up a little more. And bring it back down. And do it again. Curl it up. reach the legs, reach the legs, and then all the way down. So maybe you keep it there, right? That's good. And then maybe they come up and then it's like, I can't. Well, what's wrong with, hold on. Try not to pull, but just go under that low ceiling. Take the hands back. Do your little pull, and see how low you can go. And again, if they need to use arms, they use arms. So that's another little kind of building block for them with the neck pull. Shoulder bridge. We kind of went through it a little bit because I obviously wasn't flexible enough to do the leg kicks. So building it again for the client. So starting with just the shoulder bridge, lifting and lowering, and then maybe they can take their hands behind and cup, and then pressing in. Maybe they can lengthen their leg, maybe they can kick their leg. Just building it where that happens for them is gonna help A, challenge them, B, give them things to keep building onto instead of just trying to throw the whole thing at them, because that's a lot. And then if they're not there, they're gonna feel like a failure. So we don't want that. So let's take a little bit of a look at spine twist, because I had a client in Houston. She called it twisty twisty. She knew the mat by heart, and when we got to this, she always went, oh, twisty twisty, because it's hard. But if you don't cue it in a way that really makes them feel that, then it can feel super easy, because you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just twisting, whatever, twisting. So let's go through this, because it's one of my favorites, even though it's super simple, right? Most clients can do this. So arms straight out. So I like to cue this first, and you could just do this. Sit tall, picture a wall behind you, and tell them this, picture my hands under your triceps, and I'm pushing up into your triceps, and I want you to push down and grow really tall, and reach your legs even further and grow taller, and reach your legs further and grow taller. Well, that's a lot of work, right? Now stay tall and twist to the right. Twist where you can, grow taller. Can you twist a little more and grow taller? Can you reach the legs more and back to the center? And then to the other side, and twist where you can, go taller, taller. Can you reach more and back to the center? Guarantee you, arms are dying, legs are dying, and they're feeling that lift up. So even something simple, or what seems simple, can be sweat inducing. So I've got my notes here from teachers that sit, so I want to make sure I go through them. Okay, so let's kind of jump ahead to kneeling side kicks, because we're running out of time. This one is preparing you for side bend, which is coming up. And also it's one you can really cue in a way that makes them not just be hanging out, kicking their leg, because we're kind of preparing for side bend. So the focus should be lifting up out of this arm is what it should be. So if you think of that, and you have their hands behind their head, they come over and they're in position. Now most of them are just kind of hanging in here, right? So think of this arm and this arm behind the head. There's your neck pull, push into it. Push out of that arm. Make them lift out of that arm. Push into that leg. So getting back to a reformer, if you think of your kneeling arm series, you know, ding, 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 whatever you call them, here it is. So it's the same thing they do on the reformer with the arm series, when they have that hand on the shoulder rest and think they do the circles, whatever, because they're pushing out of it, right? So cue things like that. Think about on the reformer when you're pushing into the shoulder rest. Think about your snake and your, whatever it is that you can kind of get them to feel that connection with which brings us to the side bend prep, which is kind of your snake, right? So I've been teaching virtually for a couple of years with teachers around the country that can't come to my studio. And so we do a lot of mat sometimes, and a lot of times I'll cue this like the snake, because if you think about it, it is your snake, right? It's just a little different position, but here's your foot bar, right? You've got your feet on the foot bar. Maybe they're stuck, maybe they're not. Here's your shoulder rest, or, your shoulder rest. Oh my God, my brain is fried. So it's the same push and push, because you're pushing with your leg on that reformer foot bar, and you're pushing with the arm that's on your carriage. So it's the same thing, and you're lifting and lifting and lifting as you come back, right? So there's your snake. So you can cue things like that. Push the foot bar away, push the shoulder rest away, come up into your snake, pull that carriage in. Cue things like that they can understand and get. But I love the side bend. Boomerang. So I love teaching boomerang, because if you tell the client, it's really a combination of lots of things we did before. It's your roll down, your rollover, your teaser, your spine stretch. It's a little more challenging though, because our legs are crossed. So we're having to do a teaser with legs crossed. We're having to do a rollover with the legs crossed. So all of these things. So as you teach this, break it down. Maybe it's like they've never done boomerang before, and you're going to throw this at them. It's going to be a disaster and frustrating for them and frustrating for you. So again, think about breaking it down maybe, and just say, we're going to go into a rollover and crisscross to the other and come back. That's all you have to do. So you're going to roll back, roll over, crisscross, and then come all the way back. Okay? Just build it up. And then you can add in the teaser, and then you can add in this. So just break it down to where you're not having to spew out all this, and they're just like, I'm sorry, what? And they're looking at their little screen or whatever. So break it down. Seal, I feel like seal is just fun and makes them giggle. But let them know that we're kind of getting back and trying to balance on our shoulders again for a little longer period of time. A little more unbalanced than we were on shoulder bridge. A little longer than we were with our rolling ball and our open leg rocker, because we're going for control balance. And this is one I've talked a lot about this week. It was my exercise I did on the live Instagram this week. March Madness was this week, if you're watching this, right after it's done. And so control balance is one that I've been doing. And I just jumped ahead of rocking, and I didn't want to. Backtrack, edit. Okay, so rocking. You saw I didn't do much. I am not one of those people that can get up into that beautiful extension and rock. Even on my best day, it's like, which is fine. So again, you can build this. And by building it, you're really making it work for people, because if they're really tight, this is hard. So let's break it down, and then you can just build it to where you want to with them. They don't need to know that there's this whole rocking thing. If you know in your teacher's gut that's not going to happen for them, and then you try to make them do it, not going to happen, right? It's going to be a disaster. So on your stomach, and here's how you can build this. Take your right hand and just see if you can grab your leg. See if that can happen. From here, can you reach that arm, reach the knee away, and push that hip into the mat? And then release. And can you do the other side? Can you reach the arm away, lift the knee? Can you push that hip into the mat? And then release. And then let's say they did that. You can then continue. Great. Can you now reach both legs? Hold. Can you reach both arms? Can you let the knees float up? Can you push the hips into the mat? Great. And then maybe on the next one, can you let the head float up? Can you start to look forward? Maybe the chest lifts up. Keep pressing the hips in. Keep reaching your arms. Keep reaching your knees. And just letting them go where they can go and remind them to breathe. So maybe if it gets to the point where you're visually looking and they're like, oh my God, they could rock. Then just say, okay, if you can start that rocking, just organically rocking, and let them go. So they don't need to know the be-all, end-all of everything right away. And let's backtrack a little bit. Edit again. Ding, ding, ding. This is how my brain works. All over the map. Remember when we did, and we talked about open leg rocker and just rolling back to where they could feel the length of their legs. Maybe they didn't lift them. You can do the same thing with teaser, because maybe they've never done teaser before. And you know they're not going to get up, or they struggle, and you're like, I don't want to go there yet. So what if you just let them do what's called like a teaser prep? Arms out. It's the same thing we did with our open leg rocker. Roll back to the point where you can say, okay, so it's a little past their teaser. Reach your legs so far away, maybe they float up. Maybe they unweight and come back. So maybe keep it there. If their legs float up, take them into a teaser there. So roll back, reach your legs, maybe they float up. Yeah, now can you come up, touch your feet, bring your torso towards your legs towards your torso, and then come down the way you went up. So maybe you keep it there. And then maybe you have them roll all the way down and go into a full teaser. So we backtrack to teaser. But things like that, just taking things and building them and building them and building them, keeps them challenged, keeps them engaged. And no matter how long you're having to teach this way, or even when you're back in the studio, they're not going to get bored, because each day is different. And I tell this to teachers when they start teaching and they're like, oh, my client's getting bored. We do the hundreds every time. They're getting so bored. No, they're not getting bored. It's because you teach 6 or 7 clients every day, or you teach this over and over and over. So it's really, you think they're getting bored, but they're not. They maybe haven't seen you in a week or 3 or 4 days or whatever it is. So for them, no. So think about that when you're teaching the mat. They're not seeing you 2 to 3 hours every day, right? They're seeing you maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. If you're really lucky, 3 times a week. So for them, no. The mat will never get boring, especially if you just keep making it super clear, super simple. Show them building blocks. Show them, oh my gosh, did you look, your feet just floated up. Oh my gosh, did you see this? Did you look at what you got? Oh yeah. Just give them those little positive feedbacks, which I'm huge about. Okay, control balance. Here we go. So I got a lot of texts, DMs, all this, because I don't normally teach mat classes or classes in my studio. It's one-on-one and duets. So when all this shifted, I started teaching mat classes online for clients and ones that wanted classes. And what I found is a lot of teachers were reaching out saying, oh my God, I forgot about that exercise. And the majority, it was control balance. They didn't forget about it, but they just had left it out. And a lot of times you think, oh, it's too hard for the client. They're not gonna get it. It's, I don't know how to teach it. It's, I know for me, when I was a new teacher, it so got left out because I couldn't really connect with it. And it took some while. And then there's some days where you're like, oh, so let's look at it for a minute. In Return to Life, he talks about bringing that leg and touching the floor and then taking the other leg up. So think about that as the be all end all, right? It's that perfect teaser, it's the perfect swan. For some people, that A, flexibility is not there. B, they're just pulling their leg down. And so they're not really engaged in doing the opposition and doing that reach. So I like to teach it first with them understanding that. And then when I see maybe that could happen, I'll cue it. Can you keep that and bring that leg closer? Can you keep that and bring it more towards the floor? So that you're giving them something to do, but you're not saying bring it to the floor. It's like, can you keep that and do this? And if you think about that with every exercise, it's a really good cue. It's like, can you keep that reach and do this? Can you keep that and do this? Because they're focused on something. And I'll get into the focus. If I forget, just email me and say, you said you were going to talk about the focus and you didn't. Okay, so control balance. Let's build it. So, on your back, arms at your side. Let's just go into the rollover first. So go into your rollover. Now, from here, can you reach your legs behind you? Because if you keep reaching the legs back, that's going to keep them from falling out of it. So reach the legs back. You are resting on your head, on your shoulders. Can you take one arm and reach it behind you without touching the mat? Can you balance there, keep reaching those legs, and take the other arm? Maybe that's all they can do, and you bring them out of it. Nothing wrong with that. If they start to fall out of it, it's just the loss of the reach of those legs. It's your rollover, right? So they've got to keep reaching those legs. So let's build into that. Let's say they did that, right? So that was great. Yay, they're here. They reached one arm, they reached the other. Can you stay balanced and grab one foot? Now, here, I could really easily do that, but nothing's happening. I don't really feel anything. So I want to take this leg and I want to pull it that way, and I want to push into it here and pull at the same time. So I'm going to reach the leg, pull it behind, push into it, reach the other leg up. So I'm pulling this leg and I'm pushing and pulling. That's as far as my leg's going to go towards the ground. Now I can do that, but I just lost everything. So again, flexibility, either in their back or in that hamstring. For me, it was a hamstring was screaming at me. That's going to prevent that from happening. So if you take that cue out right away and just focus on the reach of that leg and kind of the push-pull, right, to lengthen up. Can they keep that going? That was, sorry about that. This going back and up. Then maybe they can pull into it more. So you can build that control balance where it's just maybe one arm goes back and they bring it down. And then they do the other arm back and they bring it down. And maybe that's their exercise. So when you teach it, and you teach it either for the first time or the first time to this client or whatever, don't let them know, okay, we're gonna roll over and then we're gonna take one leg and we're gonna do this and this is gonna happen and then this is gonna happen and then we're gonna switch and do it, because it's like you're not there, right? And even if you are there, it's a lot. So just build it, keep building it. Great, we did that, let's do this. Okay, we did that, let's do this. So let's kind of talk about a little bit, because we have a little bit of time. Let's talk about focus on your mat. Meaning, when I teach a client, I have two things I go into that session with, or two thought process. One is, I'm assessing them, and I'm going to see what's happening. And whatever I see happening, whether it's tightness somewhere, and I'm not a doctor, I don't have x-ray, so I can't sit there and go, oh my, your hip is really tight and it's rotating this and this is happening. I don't know what it is. I may never know. All I know is their hip's a little off, or their leg isn't reaching, or they're a little twisted here. So I'm going to try however I can to make that better. But I'm not telling them that. They're just working. So I might have that focus. If it's someone I've worked with for a long time and they come in and they're really not, having any major issues going on, and maybe I give them a challenge that day or a focus. So with mat, when you're teaching the mat, one way to keep your clients from getting bored or feeling that fear of, oh my God, they're gonna get bored, we're doing mat for 3 months on a computer, or you're in your space and we're gonna do mat today, and they're like, mat's boring, or not hard, is give them a focus. It could be something you carry through the whole mat. So it could be the reach of the legs. It could be the reach of the arms. It could be the press of the arms. It could be the breath. It could be, just think, it could be the pull of this, the reach of this. It could be, I did one whole mat class the other day on balance, meaning balance in the body. Are both legs reaching? Are both hips connected evenly, whether you're on your front or on your back? Or your arms reaching evenly? Are they pressing? Are the shoulders? So I just made it this whole kind of balance through, and I kept cueing to pay attention to this and feel this, and is that still happening? Is it getting better? And then as we got to the final push-up, it was kind of like, okay, put it all together. So you can give them a focus or something to connect with. Or if you see something isn't happening, like they do their roll up and it's like, oh my, they kind of do this and come back up. It's like, okay, that's gonna be my focus now. And how am I gonna cue that for them? So I think in terms of, to wrap it up here, and I know, one question also that I had to go over was when you start teaching the mat, and if you're teaching someone for the first time, and this can apply to anything, I like to tell my students that a person's brain, when someone's talking at them, and think about it, like if someone tells you, oh, go to the grocery store, get this, and they keep talking, you might remember 5 things. Maybe the first 5 things they gave you. So when you're talking to your client and you're teaching, and it's really as important for the virtual teaching we're doing in this moment, they're on overload already. And even in a perfect world, when they walk in your studio, you don't know what's going on there. They could totally be in overload from their job and this and that. So when they come into your space, whether it's this way, virtual or in person, the less you talk at them, the more they're going to get into their body and into the work. So for me with cueing, it is very important to keep it, like I said, clear, simple, concise. And sometimes as a teacher, it's really hard to do this, and not, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't talk anatomy. I don't tell them what is working. Because the other thing about that is, if you say, use your abs for this, use your glutes for this, make sure your triceps are pressing, that's all they're gonna do. That's it. Triceps, glutes, abs. And we want it to be full body, because if they're thinking everything and just feeling it, it's much more challenging for them, because their whole body is working and they're having to think about the leg reaching and the arms reaching, and they're bringing their back towards that back wall, and they're pushing their head into their hands, and all these little things that are very simple for them to understand, instead of, wait, my glutes are here, okay, wait, how do I fire that? And then you've kind of lost it. So I'm rambling. So again, simple, because a lot of clients, I actually had a client once that walked in and said, slapped her quads and said, my hamstrings are really tight. Majority of clients don't know where their psoas, where their hamstrings are. And I don't cue the shoulders. I don't cue locking them down. It's like, let them move, let them figure out where they are in space. And A, makes your teaching so much easier. B, makes it more fun for them, because it's like exploring their movement. And one thing, and it's kind of my tagline, it's like, let's see where we can go together. So I say that a lot to my clients. I say, well, especially like teaser. I have one client, she's like, every time I say teaser, I can't do teaser. It's like, well, let's just see what happens. And guess what? She does teaser. So it's just, as you teach in this time, and if you're not comfortable with mat, write down the exercises from the 100, just write them all down. and think about just kind of breaking it down, right? Just super simple. And making your cues that way, making your cues more about pushing and pulling and reaching and lengthening, and not so much about make sure this legs here. I didn't cue anything with legs at 45 degrees or legs at 90 or this, because that may not be accessible to somebody. So I think my camera is moving. I don't know, or it's me. I'm wiped out. Anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little bit to put in your toolbox for teaching mat. Always, if you have anything that you want to see a workshop on, shoot it to me. And if you have something you're struggling with, whether it's an exercise or a connection to it, shoot it to me and maybe we can workshop it. So anyway, I will put up the next one again when I figure out when. But if you want to make sure that you're in the next workshop or know when it is, just again, email me. So anyway, that's it. Teaching, getting comfortable on the mat. Hopefully that helps. And just kind of go through it on your own. Do the mat, move through it, take notes on what you feel, take notes on what your movement is going through and what you're thinking about, and maybe think about your client in your position, right? And just do the work, practice it, and I promise it is super fun to teach. Your clients will never get bored. My clients have been doing mat for years and years and years and years and years, and they think it is the hardest thing, and they groan and they complain when they have to do it. So, and they have to do it every time. So whether it's at the beginning of their session or we use it towards the end, which they know then they have to do all the horrible things like control balance and push-ups and all this, because we've already warmed. They don't need to do roll-ups anymore. They've done a whole hour of other stuff, or 40 minutes or whatever. So just kind of go with it, be comfortable. Don't worry about how much you talk, and just let them move and tell them they're doing great. That was awesome. Did you see the reach of your legs? Did you feel that? Oh my gosh, did you see yourself do that? That's amazing. So that's all day. That's, we want them to feel good and challenged, and the mat is a wonderful, wonderful place to go, and just get them to understand this is hard. It's going to be hard, but we're going to build it. And if they, if they're really strong, and just blow it through non-stop, just keep them going. And when a mat class, when you've got people in there that know what they're doing and you just flow it through, it's like 45 minutes. I mean, you can get it done and they are wiped out. So enjoy, go teach the mat, get comfortable with it. I hope this helped. Okay, bye.